Welcome to yoga. So good to be here with you. We're going to start seated. Find an easy, comfortable position on the floor. Another day, yet another practice. Let's just begin with our left hand over our heart and our right hand on our belly. And we'll just either close our eyes or take a soft gaze forward. And we'll just settle ourselves into this moment, noticing the tactile sensation of our hands on our body, the movement of our body with the breath. That's just gentle little waves of rising and falling, expanding and contracting with the breath underneath our hands. That's our body. That's our breath. And we're so lucky to have them. Just take a nice deep inhale, maybe a 3 or 4 count inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 count exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A couple more of those. And you can use your Ujjayi breathing on the exhale, closing the back of the throat to make a soft hissing sound. That just allows you a little bit more control with that exhale. And that's what we really want to focus on in our practice, is elongating the exhale. And with this yoga, I like to do all my breathing through the nose. Sometimes it does feel nice to give a big sigh at the end with an open mouth. But there's new studies. There's an amazing book called Breath. It's on the New York Times bestseller list that talks about how important nose breathing is for health and for sleep hygiene. So that Ujjayi breathing is such a great tool to have to get that nose breathing activated and to really rely on that exhale to ground us down into our bodies. Good. All right, let's just take the hands down to the knees. We're going to inhale, arch look up, drawing the shoulders back and down. And then exhale, belly button reaches towards the spine as we contract and tip the pelvis forward. Couple more of those big, full spine stretches. And give a nice little stir with the rib cage to the right. Inhale as you come forward, exhale as you round back. And the other way. Good. And we'll go do a little teeter-tot here, taking the right hand to the mat, lifting the left arm up, and just slowly rainbow that arm over, dropping the elbow to the mat, rooting the opposite hip down to the mat, opening up the chest, looking under that armpit, breathing here, lengthening through the fingertips. And recover other side. Yes, walk those fingertips away from the pelvis. Drop that elbow slowly towards the mat. You can use the hand on the mat to kind of give yourself a little bit of traction to open up that rib cage towards the ceiling. And release. Good. Take the hands behind the hips, fingertips forward. Drop the knees down into the floor. I separate my feet a little bit from each other. Inhale. Squeeze those shoulders behind you, chin to chest. And on the exhale, press the pelvis forward off the ground and release the head back. And bring yourself back to center. Let's come into a nice long spine. Inhale, reach the arms up. Lengthen through the rib cage here, but drop the rib cage on top of the spine. Yes. And on the next inhale, let's come forward about 5 inches. Lengthen one more time, but root those hips into the ground and then release the hands down and let the head become heavy. Maybe shake the head slowly, like you're saying no. And maybe a few little shakes yes with a heavy head. And while you're hanging out here, just pay attention to that belly. See if you can lift the abs a little bit, engage them. And remember that this is your time. Release into this time, release into your body. Give yourself this time to listen and to respond to your body's needs. Exhale into the pose. And walk those hands up slowly and extend the legs. Give yourself a little massage down the leg, a little bit here. Tuck that right leg in, flex the left, take the right arm up, and just give yourself a nice second version of a side stretch here. Opening up that chest. You can actually grab hold of the toes if you want. Pull your ear down towards your knee. And then round that right side of your body down towards the ground. Take your hands on either side of your ankle. And stretch here. Should feel really good on that lower right side of your back. Slowly using your hands, walk yourself back up. Be tender with yourself. Switch sides. Left leg comes in and left arm comes up. Slowly walk that hand down the leg. Grab those toes if you can, or if you want to. It's perfectly fine to grab the ankle. And then just open up that chest a little bit further and gently pull your ear down towards your knee, rooting the opposite hip down into the mat. And then gently round that left side of your torso down towards the floor, taking the hands on either side of the ankle. And release, breathing in and out through the nose. Good. And coming back to the cross-legged position with the opposite leg in front. Take the hands behind the pelvis one more time. Separate the feet, drop the knees towards the mat. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders behind you, chin to chest. Exhale, lift the pelvis off the floor and drop the head back. Breathe. And release. Good. Extend those legs. Let's just do a little dance or stretch here. Up and over to the left. And then rainbow those arms up and over to the right. Soft and graceful. Just moving the spine slowly, right to left. We're not going to hold the stretch here. We're just trying to be fluid. Think about being fluid. Beautiful. Find that dynamic flux in between. Bringing those legs together, hands behind the hips. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders together. Chin down, exhale, lift the pelvis and take the chin up towards the ceiling. And release. Beautiful. Let's take the right leg on top of the left. So we've got my left leg tucked under and my right leg on top. And I'm kind of trying to sit on both sits bones. So I don't want to be leaning to the left. I want to be between both of those sits bones. This is actually a great stretch right here, just hugging the knee, sitting nice and tall, lifting the belly, because you can feel it in your hips. If you want to add a little extra, you can drop your hands forward and let the forehead rest on the knee. Coming to sitting back up to vertical, take that left arm up and then reach it forward and try to hook your knee in that little space where your elbow is. Then lift the right arm up, lengthen the spine, and reach back behind you for a gentle spinal twist. Coming back to center, unhook those legs gently. You're gonna feel those hips might feel a little achy. Give them a little massage, get those knuckles down into that joint, and then switch sides. Tuck the right leg under and the left leg on top. Starting just right here. Try to drop that knee down towards the ground, the top knee, sitting nice and tall. And then when you're ready, walk those hands forward and release the head down towards the knee. Coming up, reach that right arm up forward and then hook that knee right into the elbow. Left arm comes up and twists back, leading your focus to look over your left shoulder. You can place the hand on the floor behind you and give yourself a little twist. Just gentle, not too harsh. And recover. Unhook those legs. Good. Let's just let the knees fall to the right and then fall to the left. My hands are behind my pelvis. And I'm just kind of rotating the knees to each side. That should feel really good. Yeah. All right. We're gonna do a little bigger version of this. So we're gonna sit up with our feet in front of us. Our arms are gonna come out. We're going to rotate to the right, twisting, place the hands on the floor on that diagonal. We're gonna do a little push up here, leading with the chest to the floor. So try to get the chest and the chin to the floor. Push up, come back around, all the way to the front again, and then twist to the other side. Reaching out on that diagonal, chin and chest to the floor, push up, and rotate around. Very controlled and very slow. Moving through each pose with ease, efficiency. And I'll meet you back in center. We'll extend the legs on a V, reach out, long the diagonal, and then just let your body fall forward, your torso, and release. Stretching those hamstrings. Good, and coming on up. Let's come on to our hands and knees. We're just gonna do a prayer pose. And this is always a good place to come to at any time during the class. We're gonna come up onto all fours and do a little push up. And then we're gonna come back into prayer. If you want, you don't have to do the push up. And you can do a couple different kinds of push-ups. You can do a tricep push-up, keeping the elbows nice and close to the rib cage. Or if you want, you can do a little worm push-up, taking the chest and the chin to the floor and keeping the booty up in the air. Lots of different versions of the push-up. You can switch in between those two types. Then you can take it out too, whatever feels good. We're just trying to warm up the body, activate the blood, activate that air, the energy in our body. And then one more time, push up, and I'll meet you back in prayer. And we'll just hang out here for a second. Big deep inhale, big long exhale. Good. Let's wake up those legs. Take the right leg off the ground in all fours. And we're gonna just tap the knee to the calf and then send it back up. And then bring the knee to the chest and send it back up. The leg never straightens. We just tap and lift. And then bring the knee to the chest and lift. Just a few more. Tap, lift, bring the knee into the chest and send it back. Tap and lift, bring the knee into the chest and lift. One more set. Feel like you're trying to stamp the ceiling with the bottom of your foot, like you're trying to stamp it. Good. Tuck those toes and sit back on your heels. Shake out your wrists a little bit here. Do some wrist circles. Maybe do a little shake off, like you're trying to shake water off your hands and your arms. Shake off that stale energy from the day. Coming back, let's do the other side. The left leg comes off the floor, the foot is flexed. We tap the right calf with the left knee, and then we stamp the ceiling, and then we bring the knee through to the chest and stamp the ceiling. Couple of those, we'll do about 7. Now, when you bring the knee to the chest, I want you to think about really bringing it as far forward as you can. That's going to activate the core a little bit. Try to keep everything nice and square. No lean to one side. Pressing those hands into the mat. Keeping that neutral spine. Don't fall between your shoulders. Keep the neck in line with the spine. And rest. Tuck those toes. Come on back. Shake those wrists out. Good. All right, we're gonna do a little half plank roll. So my arms are on the floor like this. So I'm gonna be on my forearms. So I've got my right forearm on the mat and my left forearm right behind it. And then I'm gonna come up to a plank. I'm gonna rotate onto the side of my feet and look up, lifting the right arm up, and then replace that forearm down on the floor, and then switch to the other side. So I call these rolling half planks. So we're just doing a few, see how they feel. One more set. Give yourself a moment in each pose. And then come to prayer. Actually, let's come to child's pose with the arms down by our side, resting on our forehead. Good. So we activated the legs, we activated the core, the arms, the spine. Let's come into all fours one more time, and let's do the whole body, activate the whole body by coming into down dog. Tread those feet. Rotate the shoulders out away from each other and down. Lift the heels and then drop the heels. Good. Let's hold down dog for 3 long breaths. Beautiful. Go ahead and lift that right leg up and swing it forward into a runner's lunge. Just have the hands on the inside of the right foot. Just hang out here for a minute, maybe a little rock and roll forward and back. Good. You can go ahead and drop the knee, untuck the toe, and then use your hands to press against your knee to bring your torso all the way up. I'm pressing my pelvis forward to get a nice stretch in the psoas, the front, the quad. And then I'm going to take my arms up and lift my chest towards where the ceiling meets the wall. You can take your hands behind your head and hold your head in your hand. Get those elbows out to the side. And release. Now coming up onto your knee, bringing your top front foot a little closer. We're going to just do a little side stretch. I think it can show you better from here. So I'm going to take my left arm up, my right leg is forward, and I'm just going to push the hip to the left, reaching over the side, and you can keep your hand on your waist here. Open up the chest, open up, press the pelvis forward. And then we'll come back into down dog. Reestablish down dog with 3 long breaths. On the inhale of the next breath, take the left leg up and then bring it forward into a runner's lunge on the opposite side. Rock and roll here. Feel the length from the top of your head to the back, to your heel. And then when you're ready, drop that knee, untuck the toe. Place your hands on your thigh to bring yourself up gently. And then take the arms all the way up, looking up. Breathing deeply, slowly through the nose. You can take your hands in your head, getting a little further stretch in the upper back, getting those elbows open, opening up the chest. And coming back to vertical, bring that foot a little closer to the pelvis, the front foot. Take the right arm up, press the hip to the right, and the pelvis wants to reach forward, tight glutes. Good. Coming back down, hands to the mat, take that left leg back, tuck the toes, and come into down dog. One more time, 3 breaths. Good. Coming down into all fours. I'm gonna roll my mat, give my knees a little extra padding, and we will do our pranayama, 20 breaths. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, exhale, bringing them down through heart center. Whenever you're ready, begin. Three more. Last one, interlace the fingers, send the palms to the ceiling. Walk the shoulders up the ladder, one at a time, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. keep that expansion in your rib cage as you bring the arms down slowly. Beautiful. All right, let's come to standing. Get some water. I think it might be good to do a little quad stretch to start with. So grab the outside of the right foot. Now I like to tuck the pelvis slightly and then send the top of the knee to the floor while I press the top of the foot into my hand. Lift the left arm up. Get myself a little bit more space here so you can see more of my body. And find the length. Find the length. Root the four corners of the foot into the ground. And then when you find your balance, let's see if we can move within poses on this left side. So release the foot and then bring the knee to the chest and see if you can just balance on that left leg, circling the ankle to the right a few times and then circling it to the left. Now open up the knee and see if you can take that left hand out. Good, bring it back to center, switch hands and see if you can do a standing twist. So you're reaching back behind you, holding that knee to the chest. The hardest part is the switch of the focus. And let's try the other side. So shake those legs out for a minute. And then try the quad stretch on the left side. Grabbing the outside of the foot, tuck the pelvis, and then send the top of the knee to the mat. Reach the right arm up and find those four corners of your standing foot and root them into the mat. Finding something to focus on about 6 feet in front of you really helps. Now, maintaining your balance, release that foot and bring the knee to the chest. Circle the ankle a few times in one direction and then in the other. Open up that knee. Reach the opposite arm out. Beautiful. Bring the knee back, switch hands, and then twist over your left side. And bring yourself back to front and release. Good, balance. That was way more than 10 seconds on one foot. Got to keep testing that balance. Beautiful. Let's come into a deliciously deep chair pose. Find your chair at the top of your mat. Lift the belly button towards the spine. Your core is your silver platter that's holding your spine. Sink a little bit deeper. Breathe. Good, lift that right thigh to the chest and then send it back and lift the chest coming into crescent pose. Breathe in crescent. Drop that back heel to open up into side angle. Arms are parallel. Pick up the back heel to bring yourself back to crescent. And then press off that back foot to come up to mountain. Chair pose. Get those arms up by your ears. Sink a little bit deeper. Engage your core. Lift the left thigh to the chest. Send the leg back. Lift the torso. Crescent pose on the left side. Drop the back heel and tilt into side angle. Arms are parallel. Lift the back heel to return to crescent. And then press off that leg to come to mountain. Woo, beautiful. Let's do a roll down into plank. So come to the back of your mat. We're starting in mountain. Let's do a nice slow roll down, starting with the top of the head, the neck, the shoulders, the rib cage, the waist, the lower back, the hips, the pelvis, taking weight into the hands, bending the knees over the toes, coming all the way down, walking the hands forward and coming in to plank. Holding plank. Booties up, down dog. Inhale, take that right leg off the floor. Bend it through and under and across. Fall onto the side of your left foot and come into a side plank with the right leg forward. Take the hand down to the mat, bring that leg back up in the air, and bring it down. Left leg comes up on the inhale. On the exhale, bring that knee down and across, extend the leg forward, coming into side plank with the left leg shooting forward. Bring the hand back down to the mat, extend the leg, bring it down, walk the hands back into your nice little ball, heavy head, roll up to standing vertebrae by vertebrae. Good. Awesome. Let's just rise up on our toes right here, taking the heels off the floor and the arms up in the air parallel to each other, balancing on the balls of our feet. In ballet, it's called releve. And then lower the heels with control, bringing the hands down. One more time, we're gonna lift the heels off the floor, extending the arms forward and up with control. Abs are engaged, focus is forward. And then slowly lower the heels, bringing the arms down. Good. So what I'm working here is a little bit of the sense of vertical and horizontal. Yeah, we're gonna do another roll down here and get ourselves back into plank. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling down through forward fold into a nice tight ball with the knees over the toes, walking the hands forward into plank and holding plank. Breathe. If you want, you can take the right leg off the floor. And switch. And lower the feet and then come up into down dog. Lift that right leg off the floor. Bend it all the way forward. Drop the back heel and come into warrior two. So you want your right hip in line with your left hip. And you want your lunge to be nice and deep with your knee over your ankle. Breathe here. And let's just take a beautiful, gentle reverse warrior. Sinking a little deeper into our lunge. Pinwheel those arms down to the mat. Lift that back heel off the floor and come back into down dog. Big breath. On the inhale, lift the left leg, step it through, drop the back heel, pinwheel those arms around. Warrior two, opposite side. The pinky side of that right foot is reaching towards the ground. This knee wants to be right over the ankle. Reverse warrior. Find the grace and the flow. Pinwheel those arms down to the mat. Lift that back heel. Come back to down dog. And let's meet back in plank for one last hold. And drop those knees. Then let's come into prayer. Pose. And just rock those hips a little bit right and left. And come around onto your back. Yeah. Okay. So let's do a few core exercises here. Let's just take the legs up in the air. Maybe give them a little shake. Get the blood rushing back out of the feet. We're going to take the hands to the head. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to lift the upper torso off the floor and reach the right hand towards the left ankle. Inhale, come back down. Exhale, switch sides. Left hand to right ankle. Inhale, bring the upper torso down onto the floor. Exhale, reach across the legs towards the opposite ankle. Do that a few more times. Matching the inhale with the lowering down of the shoulders and the exhale with the reach. Try to really hold the reach for a couple seconds. This is a slow and controlled exercise. Squeeze all of the air out of your body on that exhale, and then fill your body with air on the inhale. Last set. Good, and release. Hug those knees to the chest, and maybe rock side to side, and plant the feet on the ground And again, let the knees just fall side to side. We're gonna do a little bridge now, bringing the feet flat on the mat. Inhale. On the exhale, scoop the pelvis and take it all the way up into a half bridge here. Now you can stay here if you want, or if you can do a little march, lifting one knee up to the chest and then the other. Slow and steady, bringing that leg down carefully through the ball of your foot and then the heel. Try to keep the pelvis as high as possible. And then when you're ready, bring that pelvis back down to the floor and hug the knees in. Bring the soles of the feet together on the mat and let the knees fall open. Inhale and take the arms above the head. On the exhale, lift your arms up and curve all the way up to sitting. Take a nice deep breath and exhale over your feet, giving yourself a stretch with the knees open. Coming back up, slowly vertebrae by vertebrae, roll yourself back down and try that again. Inhale, arms above the head. Exhale, keeping the arms attached as much as you can to the ears. It's very hard. Reach and then release. The further away your feet are from your pelvis, the easier it is. So if you're having a hard time getting off the ground at all, take the feet a little further away from the pelvis. Try it again. Exhale, peel yourself off the floor. Yeah, that was a lot easier with my feet a little further away. Let the knees fall open and just release the top of the head towards the feet. And come up one more time, slowly coming back down to the floor. Good. All right. Let's take the right knee into the chest and send it across the body. Take the right arm out and place the palm on the floor. See if you can get the right shoulder and the right knee on the ground on either side of your torso. When you're ready, recover, bringing that knee back to the chest, extend the leg, and bring in the other knee. Cross it, let the knee fall to the floor. Take your left arm out to the side, shoulder height, and see if you can get the left shoulder and the left knee reaching towards the floor. And recover. And extend that leg. And just give yourself a little rock on the floor, digging your heels into the ground, rocking yourself. Feeling that pulse through the body. Take a nice deep breath in. Take the arms above the head Hold your breath at the top of the inhale and tighten everything. Tighten, 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 tighten. And then on a nice big release, drop your body into the floor. Now is a really good time to swallow, stick out your tongue and say, ah. Bring yourself into a deep relaxation, corpse pose. And I'm gonna find us a piece of music to do our Shavasana today. Let's pick a nice long one. Here we go. We got a 4-minute Shavasana. Enjoy. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you want, or you can come to a seated position. And we'll close our class honoring the work that we did today, honoring the grace of our movement, the power of our poses, and the nutrients that we brought to our life with our yoga practice. The spirit in me salutes the spirit in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming.